What if one sim racing rig could give you every single driving position you could ever imagine? Well, say hello to the Dyn X, a sim racing rig from Coolermaster that they say does just that. This is their first foray into the world of sim racing, and yet they say they've revolutionized it. They recently invited me to PAX, Australia's biggest gaming festival, where I got to give it a good go. To understand why a company best known for making PC parts has suddenly decided to make a sim racing rig, we first have to understand the problem they were trying to solve. Coolermaster had noticed that people like to play lots of different games: Rally Sport, F1 and GT3, just to name a few. Now, having a rig that changed position is not exactly new, but Coolermaster felt that these rigs were falling short of having complete rigidity and being easy to use. So their engineers came up with a solution that might just be a little bit of a game changer. Let's find out on my brief review. First impressions of the Dyn X were pretty good. The finish looks really nice and the metal looks high quality. Now, it's essentially made up of two parts: a cradle at the bottom and a seat at the top, and there's a pivoting point which lets you change to all of your 14 positions. Yep, you heard that right, 14 positions. But how does it work?
So all you need to do to change this from GT to F1 or whatever seating position you like, NASCAR, truck racing and everything in between, is to undo 2 bolts down here and 2 bolts on the other side. The issue with things like this is that they can be heavy, and I have dropped many a sim rig on my hand. I can tell you it's not fun. So what they've done here is they've installed some gas struts to support the weight of the seat and the rig so that you don't have those problems, meaning that effectively you could probably do this on your own. I think you could definitely do this as one person.
Now, sadly, Coolermaster couldn't actually show me the thing changing between the different positions due to the constraints of the show, but they assure me it's fairly quick. I did, however, get the chance to try the Dyn X in the GT3 position and, more excitedly, the Formula position.
Let's get ourselves in there. Immediately, honestly, probably one of the most comfortable seats I've sat in. We are at Imola in the Porsche 911 GT3R. And as you may have noticed, there's a bit of motion on there, which is a good test to see how rigid this thing actually is, because if you have any flex, this will show it up. Let's go for a drive.
Now, in the very brief time I had using this thing in the GT position, it felt pretty good. The seat was quite comfortable, the motion didn't expose any inherent flex in the structure, and it felt like I could adjust the controls to be in a position where I felt like I was in decent control. Obviously, with more time, I'd be able to explore the limits of this thing, but so far, so good.
Okay, now, while GT3 is relatively easy to get right, because by nature it's more of a comfortable seating position, the real test of this is going to be what it's like driving an F1 car. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but an F1 car, probably for the drivers, isn't that comfortable. I wonder how it'll be for me in this. Let's find out.
Before we get there though, let's discuss the price. The Dyn X comes in at around $3,500 Australian dollars, so it's not cheap. That price will be prohibitive for many people, but for some people, the ability to change between all these different driving positions in a sim rig that looks objectively good looking in real life will be worth it.
As you can see, this one is reclined a lot lower than the other one, and it's all about this pivot point just here. This seating position can be tricky because oftentimes people want to have the most realistic experience, but they still want a bit of comfort. Now, if the seat is as comfortable as it was then, I think we're on to a winner. We're playing F1 22, a game that isn't the easiest to play, so we're going to choose Monaco, naturally a track that is terribly hard. That will give us an idea of what this thing is like with rapid movements and lots of braking and accelerating, again with the D-Box. As you can see, we're sat really reclined. The seat again is great. And the thing that I find in this seat different from other sim racing seats I've had is the lumbar support. I've got a funny back, probably from playing too much sim racing. Oh, my hip. And it supports my back really nicely, and it's just comfortable and soft. And I'm not the smallest guy, not the biggest guy, but it fits my proportions quite well. It's snug. The question is, what's it like when you're driving around the streets of Monaco? Immediately, the seating position feels awesome, and we've left the track, but that's okay. Yeah, it feels realistic, but but it's comfortable. And I think that's the most important thing with this. It's comfortable, and you would have taken no time at all to get it into this position. This is a rig for someone who appreciates high quality and really wants to do their best in terms of their sim racing experience. So I think this thing is pretty awesome, but the question you probably all have is, should you trust Coolermaster? Well, I think you should, because think about it. Coolermaster make fans, power supplies, monitors, and many other things that are crucial for the excellent running of your PC. Now, if any one of those things goes down, you've got some trouble, and they have got a proven track record of having reliability and excellence. Now, if that's not something you want in your sim rig,
then I'm not really sure what exactly it is you want. Now, I've actually been thinking about how to conclude this video for a while. I went to PAX a few months ago. It's really hard to do a conclusion when the company representatives are sat around you watching you film. And I'm, really serious about the fact that it was really comfy. I could fall asleep in that seat. There was no flex in there. I'm not usually that fussed about flex. I think, I'm not an esports pro, and it's all about the enjoyment that matters. But if you want to set those really blinding fast lap times and have that consistency again and again, then having that as rigid as possible is really important. You know what? Would I buy one myself? I need to try it myself to find out. I really loved the way it felt in the Formula position, and I think that's a big deal. Now, if you guys enjoyed this very brief video, please let me know what you think down below about this very intriguing rig. Until next time, guys, see you later.